catch 'em all.
Hey guys, PokeDan here. When beginning any Pokemon game, one of the first things you do is choose your starter Pokemon. The process of choosing a starter for most is quite easy, and in extremely lucky situations, some people have gotten a shiny starter. As I'm sure you guys may know, in the games, finding a shiny Pokemon is extremely unlikely. Well, in some of them that is. But when you do find a shiny, you just get such a great feeling. Speaking of getting a shiny starter, the other day I was watching some shiny reactions, and it got me wondering about which shiny starters people preferred from each region. So naturally, I wanted to make a video on this topic, and I wanted to try to find the best shiny starter line from each region. When I say the best, this time it's not just my opinion. On my YouTube community page, I made multiple polls for which shiny starters you guys preferred from each region. And whichever Pokemon won, well, I've considered them the best. Also, this voting system is fair, you guys. There was well over 500 votes on each poll, so the answers were pretty accurate. As well as this, I'll be giving my opinion on my favourite shiny starter from each region too. So I hope to see you guys do the same and leave your favourites down in the comment section. One more thing guys, I won't be including the shiny forms of Mega Evolutions in this video because I don't think that would be fair, seeing as not all the starters have Mega forms. But yeah, with all that being said, let's get started with the video. So first up we have the Kanto region. The starter trio for this region are probably the most iconic from the Pokemon franchise. And of course I say this because they were the first starters and they are really recognizable. So let's take a look at their shinies, starting with the Bulbasaur line. For this evolution line, their shinies turn mostly green, with Ivysaur and Venusaur's flowers becoming an orange/yellow-like colour. Next we have the Charmander line. In both Charmander and Charmeleon shinies, these Pokemon turn a lot more orange. And as for Charizard, as we all know, it becomes a black shiny with reddish wings. Finally, we have Squirtle, Wartortle, and Blastoise. In this shiny evolution line, Squirtle doesn't see too much change, with the major colour difference being the shell on its back turning slightly green. As for its evolutions, they have green shells too, but they also have a more purplish design overall. So, which shiny starter line is the most popular, you ask? Well, let's take a look at the poll. As you guys can see, the Charmander line has won by a landslide here with 60% of the vote. The other starters were close together with 22% of the vote and 18%. If I had to choose my favourite, I would side with you guys. I prefer the Squirtle line as starters, however I have to admit that shiny Charizard is just stunning. Anyway, moving on. Next up we have the Johto starters being Chikorita, Cyndaquil and Totodile. And fair to say this starter trio is also much loved by the fans. Anyway, let's take a look at their shinies, beginning with the Chikorita line. Both Chikorita and Meganium change into a golden colour, and I think it really suits them. As for Bayleaf, it doesn't quite get the same shade and it looks a bit off, but hey, that's just what I think. Next up we have the Cyndaquil line. For these shinies, they all change to the same colouring. It's hard to explain what that colour exactly is, but it's sort of a mixture between gold and red and it suits them really nicely. Finally for these starters, we have Totodile's evolution line. Once again, these Pokemon change to almost the exact same colour. I say almost, but there's not really any difference between them. The blue colour on their bodies that these Pokemon previously had changed to a more cyan colour. And as for the red spikes, they all changed to blue. Anyway, looking at the poll for this one, I gotta say it was a close result. However, the Totodile evolution line backs the win. 47% of you guys agreed that this shiny evolution line was the best, with 38% of you preferring the Cyndaquil line. In last place this time, with a low 15%, is of course the Chikorita line. For this trio, I'm also siding with you guys. Even though I love Shiny Typhlosion, Shiny Feraligatr just about takes the win. Anyway, with that being said, on to Hoenn. Once again, Generation 3 gave us a set of iconic starter Pokemon. The Treecko, Torchic and Mudkip lines are all fan favourite Pokemon, and within their own rights too. So let's take a look at their shiny forms, beginning with Treecko's. With this evolution line, all Pokemon's bodies change to a slightly different shade of green, with Treecko and Grovyle's leafy features also turning to a redder colour. Sceptile also gets this red on its design, but instead of its tail changing to it, the bulbs on its back do instead. Next, we have the Torchic evolution line. In these shinies, Torchic changes into slightly lighter colours, with Blaziken doing the opposite due to some of its colours turning darker. As for Combuskin, well, not much changes at all. Finally, we have the Mudkip evolution line, and these guys basically just turn pink, with the orange parts of their designs changing to a slightly lighter shade. So yeah, let's see what you guys thought. On the Hoenn poll, the clear winner was the Treecko evolution line with 55% of the vote. In second place was the Mudkip line with 28%, and in at last was Torchic's with 17%. Although I like Shiny Sceptile, this time I gotta disagree with the overall vote. My favourite shiny starter line from Hoenn would be Mudkip's, but hey, you guys prefer Treecko and it's all good. Next up is the Sinnoh starters Turtwig, Chimchar and Piplup. For anyone who doesn't know by now, I adore Generation 4 of Pokemon, so I'm looking forward to talking about these shinies. Let's begin by talking about the Turtwig line. For Turtwig Shiny, this Pokemon turns into a minty green colour, but I can't say the same for Torterra. This starter also gains a new shade of green, but I can't really say it's my favourite. However, the middle evolution Grottle, well, this shiny Pokemon also has that minty shade of green, and the shade that I don't like on Torterra. But for this Pokemon, I actually do like the colours. For the Chimchar evolution line, basically all three Pokemon gain a more red tint to their design. It's pretty subtle, however, it still suits the Pokemon well. Finally, we have Piplup's evolution line, and much like Chimchar's, these Pokemon's shiny forms all gain the same shiny change. This time round, these starters all get a turquoise-like tint, and I really like the changes made. So let's see what you guys have to say by taking a look at the poll. For Sinnoh, the Chimchar evolution line takes the win with 55% of the vote, with Piplup and Turtwig falling behind with 25% and 20%. Even though the Chimchar line was voted the best, honestly, I would have voted for Piplup's evolution line for this gen. Unova is up next, and for this generation we have the starter trio of Snivy, Tepig and Oshawott. So let's start by taking a look at the grass type evolution line. For Snivy and Servine, both of these Pokemon gain a darker shade of green on their design. But as for Serperior, this starter's shiny form also gains a darker shade of green, with its main body having more of a minty green colour. Next up we have the Tepig evolution line. For Tepig, this Pokemon's design gains a yellowish tint, just like Pignite, who gets this similar shiny change, with the yellow parts of its design changing to purple. The final evolution, Emboar, sees massive change in its shiny form. The yellow features of this Pokemon's design change to a blue colour, with its flames turning to an amazing purple. Finally for Unova, we have the Oshawott evolution line. In Oshawott's shiny form, not a lot really changes, but the same can't be said for its evolution, Duat. In Duat's shiny, the blue changes to a turquoise-like colour, with its torso changing to purple. The final evolution of this starter, Samurott, also sees a small change in its shiny form. Overall, this Pokemon gains a dark red or brownish tint to its design, and fair to say, it's pretty subtle. For this starter trio, you guys voted for the Snivy line as your winners. And even though I have nothing against these shinies, personally I would have chosen Tepig due to Emboar's stunning change. But with that being said, on to the next generation. Next we have the Kalos trio, which consists of the Pokemon Chespin, Froakie and Fennekin. Let's start by taking a look at Chespin's evolution line. Both Chespin and its evolution Quilladin turn into a nice brown colour, and when I look at them I just think of the autumn season. As for Chestnut, this Pokemon gets similar treatment, with it becoming part brown, but also gaining an army green colouring to part of its design. Next we have the Fennekin evolution line, and all of these Pokemon's designs change to a smoky colour, with Braixen and Delphox also gaining purple on parts of their designs. Overall, a really solid shiny change for these Pokemon. Finally for Kalos, we have Froakie's evolution line. Both Froakie and Frogadier don't see massive change in their shiny forms, with them gaining a barely noticeable silver tint. Also, Frogadier's mask gets slightly darker in its shiny form, but the big colour change in this starter line comes from Greninja. As we all know, Greninja turns into an all-black shiny, and although some may say it's overrated, I can't help but adore this change. So let's see who you guys voted as the best Kalos shiny. As we can see, the clear winner this time round is the Froakie evolution line, and because of shiny Greninja, I have to say I agree with the vote. However, I do think the other shinies were still great. The final region left to talk about is the Alola region and its trio of Rowlet, Litten and Popplio. So let's get into it. Starting with Rowlet. For Rowlet, the brown colouring on its design turns into a minty green, and as it evolves into Dartrix and Decidueye, it gradually becomes darker in colour, and by the time it does turn into Decidueye, it just looks so good. Next up is the Litten evolution line, and for these Fire Kitty shinies, they become white and orange with the exception of Incineroar, who is probably more red than orange, and I really like how they look. Finally, for this trio, we have Popplio's evolution line. For Popplio, the main change is that this part of its design goes from blue to a very light purple. As for Brionne, this Pokemon gets a more noticeable shiny change, with its entire body turning into a purple colour. Finally, we have Primarina. This Pokemon also has purple or pink features on its body, but the main difference is the colour change in its hair, which turns into a yellow colour. Now let's see what you guys thought of the Alola starter shinies. From the poll, we can see that the Rowlet line won with the majority of the vote with 50%. As for the Litten line, it had 27% of the vote, with the Popplio line taking 13%. For this vote, I have to agree with you guys because honestly, I think shiny Decidueye is so nice. But anyway guys, with all that being said, that pretty much wraps things up for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more. Also, be sure to let me know who your favourite shiny starters are down in the comments section. But with all that being said, for now, I've been PokeDan, you've been amazing, and I'll see you guys next time.